All right. So I understand tribalism is going to exist. So no matter what, we're going to have some copers out here. But for those of you that don't want to be copers, that don't want to just blindly stay with your favorite celeb or internet daddy or whatever, and just want to look objectively at the facts, well, I need you to share and send a like to this video because one, YouTube's not going to do it for me, and two, there's no almighty network that's going to do it. It's just me and the centers. But if you've been to any of my streams, you watch any of my content, you know I always talk about the almighty network, and I talk to you about how there are inner workings that happen, that go on, and the secret conversations, things that these people sweep for, at surface level, people will either look at it as like conspiracy or they'll be like, oh, you're just a hate, same usual stuff for whatever reason. But recently, as we've seen, not only in government politics, but also in the YouTubes, this slowly gets exposed, right? Not everybody wants to take a payout, all right? Not everybody's going to be a blind, disingenuous, deceptive person and take the payout for either money or internet clout. Some people will actually take that step and, well, let's say release a call that was meant to be private. Karma very much exists. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Destiny. Let's talk about Nick Deorio. And let's talk about the enablers. I picked out one because it's the most pathetic one. So, starting out, well, let's read our good friends at Kiwi Farms to start off. kiwifarms.net. Pixie has vowed to sue Destiny over intimate videos and images he's filmed and released without her consent, utilizing non-consensual prawn torts from the Violence Against Women Act. As you can see here, this is one of Destiny's old bays over here. They say on November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me a victim of revenge prawn. I'll be suing him in federal court. Now, this is very interesting because if you remember, there were a lot of Destiny enablers, defenders, fanboys that were protecting Destiny when the farms leaked that Stephen Bonnell went ahead and went down on Nick Fuentes. So there was a lot of that going on at the time. Basically victimizing Destiny. Now it seems to be that, rules for D but not for me? Question mark? Very interesting. All right. Real quick, I want to point out the Cecil McFly person. I have DMs with Cecil McFly that she has deleted. I have content creators that have also had DMs with Cecil McFly that have been deleted. A lot of the messages, Cecil McFly, were shitting on Nicholas Deorio and his network. It turns out that at one point, Cecil McFly was begging Nicholas Deorio and Turkey Tom to basically help her YouTube career, her YouTube channel. So I find it interesting that now Cecil is doing another 180, trying to be anti-Deorio, trying to take a shot at Deorio, when she was trying to cover her bases so much that she deleted all her negative messages with Nicholas Deorio. But I guess now that Deorio is under fire, it's time to attack. These are the types of two-faced F-slurs that I do not trust, and you should not trust, unless you like being lied to. All right, so I just wanted to put that out there. Cecil McFly, fucking flip-flopper extraordinaire, claims to be anti-Lolicon, will defend her Shotokan friend Flamenco to the ends of the earth, which is the male equivalent of Lolicon. So not only are they an anti, they're stupid, they're an idiot, they're a hypocrite, and they are passing well past their prime if they ever had one. She's getting old. She's going to be the next Melanie Max soon. But that was just a little side thing, just to inform you there are a lot of fakes going around here that are just doing this. So, again, just latching onto the story, Meanwhile, me, being the realest guy in the fucking room, bada boom, I have been right, vindicated yet again, when I told you Nicholas Deorio has an inner network that he plans things out with, that he decides what he's going to let out. you know, people like Nicholas Deorio, Chris Denarg, Xylee Gets Real, just to name a few. Hey, you can even somewhat lump Chud Logic. He's kind of like he's a mixed bag because while he does semi-comply, he also at moments does not. So he is very much a wild card, an ace, if you will. All right, that's not going to stop me from making fun of him for being a divorced father that spends copious amounts of times on the internet. But then again, you know, I told you before, anybody can get it. Because a lot of these content creators, a lot of these people would take my diplomacy, my kindness for granted. They would take it as weakness. And I just don't want them to have the wrong idea anymore, whether they're purposely misinterpreting this or not. I am going to destroy each and every one of you. Ha ha ha, evil villain laugh. No, but in all seriousness, I just don't want to hear this fucking stupid shit from any of you anymore. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. Very annoying. But anyway, on to Nicholas. Apparently, Nicholas got recorded by a YouTuber named President Sunday. President Sunday was originally, it's worth noting, doxxed by Destiny on a chat because he hurt Tiny's feelings. That's Tiny. That is the nickname the farms have given him, and I think it's very appropriate. So, Destiny decided to dox President Sunday based off of this. Now, it's worth noting Nicholas Deorio and, you know, his cohorts, you know, like Xylee over here, whether it's Chris the Narc or any of the others that anybody Deorio promotes, right? Lyrics, anybody in the Deorio network, they will be hard anti-docs. They will grandstand their morals, right? Because, you know, they are the arbiters of truth and justice, and they will punish the wrongdoers on YouTube, such as, like, I don't know, Dogpack and Rosanna Pansino and that Cam Nuggets guy. You know, that's truth and justice. Oh, and Bobby, we need to punish and pummel Bobby for truth and justice. I mean, at least Mr. Medicare, at least he did it for the lulz, right? At least Jim did it for the lulz. These guys, Deorio, fucking Xylee, Chris the Dark, all these fucking cohorts, right? Anybody in the Orbiter crowd as well that were pretending to do the Bobby shit for truth and justice or whatever, right? Because Bobby is so manipulative, right? You would think that something as egregious as was Destiny's doing, and he's done many egregious things. This is the first thing that's caught fire, however. So you would think a lot of the egregious things, disgusting things Destiny has done would go against their morals and moral compass, but instead they justify it at every turn. The only reason this can't be justified is because Deorio fucked himself. See, let me give you a little TLDR on Deorio. There's a lot to go around, but we'll name the specifics that apply to this situation. Deorio is known to be a fucking snake. He goes ahead and he records anybody he can to use and weaponize against, well, whenever he wants. He does this various times. That's why it's rich that he was moral grandstanding along with everybody else about Bobby recording anybody without their consent. Because he does it all the time. And he uses it all the time for his own benefit. It's also worth noting, Nicholas Deorio will work with you if you're a bigger creator, but the second he can, he will backstab you in the back. He's done this multiple times. He is every bit the snake that you see on a regular basis. The typical politician. He is no better than Joe Biden, if we're being real here, or any of the corrupt. Kamala Harris, whoever, Elon, any of these multi-billionaires that claim to have your best interests at heart. He just mimics them, and he's gotten pretty successful off of it, to his credit. But unfortunately for me, that will not receive a payout, that practically does this for free for YouTube pennies, if you will. The guy that is the realist might have lost his way at some point, but will never lose his way again. I don't fuck with that shit. So, it's time to light you up. So Nick Deorio here gets recorded by President Sunday, who, keep in mind, President Sunday was doxxed by Deorio's daddy, Destiny. Now, I want to add another little tidbit of information. However, you can take this with a pinch of salt, all right? You can totally not believe this, but I have no reason to lie to you. I just felt like adding this as an extra point. I have received word that behind the scenes in the Deorio network, indeed, there have been pitches to talk about Destiny and call Destiny out, which was met with reluctance, eye rolling, and just telling the person to shut the fuck up. We are about to see why. In a recorded call with President Sunday, it was revealed Nicholas Deorio had known about certain things regarding Destiny. He had known Destiny had fucked up. However, he did not want to be transparent about such a thing, which is quite funny coming from the guy that preaches transparency at every point and, anytime he can sprinkle that in there. Very funny. But it doesn't end there. So let's just read Nicky's Moby Nick's own words. Moby Nick says, "My next stream I do will open with the Destiny allegations now that they are public. Obviously, I'm not stoked that I was recorded without my consent, but the glass half full perspective is that now this stuff is all in the public arena." It's also worth noting, as I preached to you before, my lovely, lovely centers, I told you these people do not have your best interest at heart, because all that matters to them, like the multi-billionaires, is money and controlling the narrative. And that is exactly what Deorio goes on to say, essentially, in the recorded call with President Sunday. Now again, it is rich that Nick Deorio does not like being recorded without his consent, considering he does that to so many people. Kind of funny there. But we continue on, I just want to be clear that any strong position I took in that call is not something I would proudly say on stream. That's precisely why I haven't, why this call recorded without my knowledge. And why I haven't, and why this call was recorded without my knowledge. I got access to one single screenshot a few days after the New Year's stream, which is not the type of evidence I would deem actionable. There has since been significantly more revealed, and we will go through it on stream. I'm not going out of my way to force a reveal of someone else's story. And consent and participation. Basically, let me just go ahead and translate this. This is damage control, all right? This is damage control for why he didn't bring up the Pixie thing firsthand, the Pixie situation. Though he had knowledge of this, though Chud Logic had knowledge of this, and Deorio, funny enough, goes on to admit a lot of juicy stuff in that call, such as how Chud Logic had knowledge about this. However, the Destiny Network, yes, the Destiny Network is so powerful it will cripple you. So Deorio looking out for his bottom line, Chud presumably looking out for his bottom line, which is the money. Everybody changes up when it's about the money. That's why I'll never have to worry about me, because I'm not stupid enough or narcissistic enough. I am a narc, but not that much. Like a Nicholas Deorio, like a Chud Logic, like any of these other wannabe motherfuckers out here trying to preach reality and morals to you. To make YouTube a job, a drama contenter, new word, trying to make this a job is fucking stupid. And it is, dare I say, a little presumptuous, or I don't know, fancy words, fancy words. Anyway, he goes on to say this, the half of this is self-preservation and the other half is just basic morality. The word morality is interesting because Destiny over the years has said and done many things that are immoral and against people like Nicholas Deorio and his stragglers' moral compass, supposedly, from what they would want to go ahead and present to you. Lest we forget, these are the same people that condemn others for much, much less. Though instead of being transparent and letting you guys know that they do it, just because Destiny has more cloud capital and can line their pockets up with more money and viewers. I mean, they can't line their pockets up with more viewers, but you get what I mean. It's more beneficial to be pro-Destiny. They won't tell you that. So a recorded call needed to happen. It did. And that's why I continue to tell you, you cannot trust these people. Hell, you can trust kiwifarms more than these people. The average shitposter on kiwifarms is probably more transparent than these fucking YouTubers, the corporate YouTubers. And let me be a little more specific for the autists. The corporate drama farming YouTubers, and yes, that includes the anti-SJW network. Quartering, Melanie Mac, even extends to people like Nick Rekieta, who also had a downfall and was exposed. By the way, I was right about that. as well. So Deorio goes on to do a little more damage control. Just a little bit. Beckett is another one of those corporate dick suckers. Really, nobody gave a shit about this guy. Maybe you'll see him around or anything. He has a gay little podcast. Nobody gave a shit about this guy up until Deorio promoted them, which is a lot of the things here, one of which I take very much pride in. Because you could say that I'm not doing as well on numbers. Sure. But the fact of the matter is, and at the ending of the day, as a bear would say, chat, centers, I did this all on my own, without ever needing a network, without ever needing to kiss, a 5,000-pound man's ass to get anything that I've ever gotten on this fucking platform. And I will hold that forever above anybody's head. This is not narcissism, for once. This is pure fact. And it's one of the things I can actually be proud of, that I was self-made enough to be somebody on this fucking platform without the help of being a fucking greaseball. Man, it's good. Oh, and if you think this is great, don't worry, we do a lovely Friday show and sometimes a Saturday show, and we'll be going over everything in autistic detail. From we're going to read Kiwi Farms posts, we're going to watch the entire thing, we're going to dissect little by little. Roastmaster MrSEN is going to be out in full display because that is what I do best. They avoid me like the fucking plague because you know what happens when you get in contact with the fucking plague? You inevitably go... World's best roaster. No more taking corporate handouts or playing these stupid little games. We're done. All I need is me, my balls, and the centers. Or the Senny squad. Totally did not rip that off of anybody, by the way. But pretty much the tail of the tape regarding Destiny. Releasing Revenge Prawn. It seems that even some people in his own fan base, the DGGers, are not very happy about this. So it is pretty much a big story. For the people going ahead and damage controlling this, it's very sad. It's very pathetic. I want to point to one of those people here being a very elderly woman named Xylee Gets Real. Now, it's very sad to see this because I had previously had a decent relationship with this person. To their credit, the only thing I can say is when this drama stuff, this corporate bullshit isn't involved, they're a nice person to talk to behind the scenes. But, as I've said to you before, and this pains me, this really does pain me, I will not be making the same mistake twice. I will not be letting a brief internet friendship on the internet friendship, the YouTube content creator friendship, blind me to not exposing the truth. I will very much stand on my own 2 feet with the support of the Senny squad. God be damned. Again, pains me that I have to do this, but I gotta call it out. I will no longer bite my tongue for this bullshittery. So, Xylee Gets Real, 50-year-old woman, bottom of the barrel in terms of the Deorio network. I don't know if she knows this. She probably does and just doesn't give a fuck. Because again, Xylee never really had exposure to that extent until Deorio came along. Or commentary. Because, of course, again, numbers, money, payouts always change a person and how they work. I've seen it time and time again. I've let you know. If you ever see, for example, I'll give you the biggest example. Rekieta, again, always comes back to Rekieta, was a lot more humbler and a lot more consistent, shall we say, with his values, supposed values, when he had lower numbers. But when those numbers went up, what happened? Well, you saw what happened. And the same could be said about any of these other people. Which is, once again, why I'll never have really content creators on the internet that are internet friends. Because I know most of you, if not all of you, look out for your bottom line, and I am pretty much sick of it. That is selfish on me, maybe. But this is the path I will walk. Again, with the Senny squad, with the centers. That's it. And I've been self-made before, baby. So I know I'm going to do it again if I please. If the centers, if the Senny squad want it, it shall happen. But anyway, I'm sorry for getting off track. I'm just going to point out the obvious here real quick, and we're going to wrap this up on Solar Stream. Xylee Gets Real says, I am trying to figure out what was the point in dropping the Nick call. Now, there was various reasons for dropping the Nick call. This is playing stupid. Something that they have done time and time again, whether it was with Tipster, whether it was with Keemstar, now it's Nick Deorio. Time and time and time again. It's very interesting. One of the things I'll say is that it's weird when Xylee addresses the situation without actually addressing the situation. But knowing what we know, she knew about this stuff beforehand because Deorio literally says in the call that he informed his network about this a while ago. Do you want to know who networks with Nick Deorio? Quite a few people. But who does Nick really rub shoulders with? Who does he plan with, so to speak? Look no further than the Tea Party group chat. The group chat that Xylee, Nick Deorio, Kristen Ark, Waby Websurf, a lot of people in commentary just want to sweep under the rug and pretend it had no relevance or anything to... It was like one of the hidden secrets. We don't talk about that because it's irrelevant. It's just a meme, guys. Lol. Oh yeah, Keemstar's in there too. There was quite a bit that was going on there. There was some doxing afoot. There was some plotting. Literal. Like they try to make this one guy that they had a hate boner for so irrelevant that like he can't ever get any social media presence ever again so they could control the narrative. Kind of like Destiny-ish moves, because Destiny does this as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Playing fucking stupid for this when Nick Deorio explicitly says in the call that his entire network, which includes Xylee, knew about the situation. It's also worth noting Xylee previously had a problem with Mama Max, though refused to talk about it at the time because she didn't have enough sway or power to do anything about it. So I don't know what changed on that. I don't know if, it's one of these things very much that I believe, at least I believe, that if you have an issue with something, if you want to claim to be real, authentic about it, you will at the very least hint at something being off. You will not be buddy-buddy with the person. But that's something that I believe you cannot really do when you're a big content creator or when this is one of your sources of income that you rely on. You know, like a good example of this recently was Mudahar, Nuxtaku, even Mama Max, and Oompy Bill. You know, that was pretty scuffed. That was a pretty scuffed situation. Why was it so messy? Why was it so flip-floppy? Could it be because money and crossover was involved? I don't know. Maybe, perhaps. Again, you know when I tell you, like, the big YouTube channels, the big YouTubers, it always gets money. But that is a quick summarization. When I was right again, do not fall for the network. Do not think these people have your best interests at heart. Take anything they say with a pinch of salt, especially if it comes from the commentary people, because as much as I do not like the YouTuber Technicals for various reasons, one of which him trying to label me a pedophile, because I hurt his fragile little ego, Nick Deorio trying to destroy the character of not only him, his buddy Zero, and his brother Technicals, his brother Pixel Drink, while biting his tongue for Destiny and kissing his ass to the very fucking end, is just a great reminder of the double standards, nitpicks, just the deception, pure fucking deception on display. Again, I am not a fan of any of these characters here, but I would not be any better than Nick Deorio or any of these people if I do not address the fact that Nick Deorio goes at people for much less, especially people he does not like, such as Technicals. Not to say Technicals, the YouTuber, is any different than Nick in his own way, but this is a fair comparison, I believe. All right, I will always go for the realness, for the fair comparisons. Okay, this idea that I am stuck in my ways and I refuse to is a pure fabrication. As much of a fabrication as it is when Nick Deorio and his network pretend like they are about truth and justice, where they will make 3,000 Boblack streams focusing on the most minuscule of details, when they will nitpick the shit out of Dogpack, sweep for Mr. Beast by not covering the crypto allegations, condemning Mudahara's video for pointing out the crypto allegations, the Mr. Beast sweeping, now this, the Destiny sweeping. It's amazing. It's amazing. And to one final point, there's another YouTuber that is close with Chud that has said that he has previously tried to grill Deorio and co about what is up with the sweeping, why Deorio wouldn't talk about this. And he never really got a response. So very much so, the President Sunday recorded call needed to be released. It was one of those things where it needed to be released. Another thing to note, and real quick right here, Jim, Zaddy Jim, now trying to find out what was going on. All right, Zaddy Jim going ahead and trying to play catch up. But again, just to go back to an old point Deorio made, and there's a lot of thrown in the bus stuff, but don't worry, we're gonna cover that on the stream, and this video has already gone way too long. But Daddy Jim trying to catch up because he's been too busy with other things, right? But I say your internet son Deorio did not want to talk about it, Jim, referring to the Destiny leaks, because he called it a TOS violation, but now it's apparently being talked about, which is pretty crazy. So I'm going to leave it with that. Guys, again, send a like, share this video, etc., etc. I'll see you all in the stream this Friday. We have a lot to cover. Again, going to cover kiwifarms posts. We're going to cover the leaks. We're going to cover everything, really. It's going to be the Destiny Deorio banquet, and we are going to feast. And I'm sure there's going to be some Ricada-ness, of course, okay, because I am the Ricada guy, right? That is my designated role at the moment, as well as the Elon guy, where I take the shit out of Elon. But I don't know, what can I say, guys? When I'm passionate about something, I just want to broadcast it a little bit, up until my time is done. But yeah. Have a good rest of your day, chat. Centers, Senny Squad. I'll see you all in the next one. And remember, don't be a rebard.